So this is Monica Zanz, business consultant, life coach, and my motto is see your greatness, be your greatness, pay it forward. And this is my husband, Jan.
Hi, everybody. Where am I supposed to be looking?
You're supposed to be looking right here.
Okay, got it.
Okay, good.
Okay.
Journey towards our marriage was a long-awaited backstory for the tip.
Okay, got it.
You guys, my head is going nuts with the word tip, but anyway, we'll forget about that for now. So yeah, my tip is, in order to really create an amazing, awesome, Leah. In order to create an amazing marriage, one of the things you want to do is make sure that you know that everything that comes up in the first year before you do the marriage, so all the wedding planning, all the ways that your mother-in-law shows up, all the ways that your mom shows up, all the way that people show up for the planning, is usually skills, tools, and information that you're going to need to navigate your marriage. So where do you draw the boundaries? Where do you draw the lines? Where do you have conversations with your partner leading into what it is that you're creating together as a family and as a unit, as opposed to all the information that's coming at you and thinking, oh, I'm just planning a wedding, we'll get through this. No. The universe is serving you with information about what your marriage is going to need to withstand certain things that are going to probably show up throughout the course of your marriage. Why don't you show us the tea?
So can I expand on that?
Go ahead.
Okay. So what well, we can, so how do you keep intimacy there after total of 25 years?
So a sexologist is really awesome. Understanding your needs and desires and being able to communicate it openly and honestly. When you're not in the mood, being able to feel safe enough to share, I'm not in the mood, and sometimes doing it anyway, because you just have to sometimes do it to get in the mood.
What are you talking about?
Well, they're asking
Okay.
how do you do,
No,
so I'm going into it.
No, I'm talking about like not in the mood. What are you talking about?
All right.
And doing it anyway. Okay. Okay. Well, so to expand on what Monica is saying, so this is what I'm hearing you say. So now this could be for relationships, but really what happened was we have some friends who are getting married, and so we have some friends who are getting married.
We'll go deep into the information.
And so they're planning the wedding, and planning a wedding, the wedding day is supposed to be the greatest, day of your life. It's supposed to be this wonderful celebration, the unification, the unification of two people and their love, and yet the process of the planning and just all of the stuff that goes around it
can suck.
Yes, it often does.
Okay, anytime you're talking about anything relationship, you can always go to the sexual innuendo. So let's just get that out of the way, that we're going to say a lot of things that might seem sexual, and they're not intended to just be sexual, yes. Okay? So just get your heads out of the gutter, because clearly mine is in the gutter.
I was going to say, you're totally reflecting where your mind is. As nothing, they're just making little notes on Periscope. It's where you are. All right, so her mind is in the gutter. Okay, great.
Gutter's good sometimes for a spicy marriage.
Yes, it is. There you go. That's how you keep her hot.
There's a heart. One heart for that comment. Awesome.
So the point is that things come up. So, right, that's what she said. So things come up. Stop it. Stop.
Okay.
All right, so in our situation, real simple. One example is that, so when we got married, we basically, my parents wanted to be with us on stage as part of the bridal party. Why are you laughing?
That sounds so funny to people.
Well, it's so, the family's up there and the bridal party's up there, and my parents, the tradition in their family is that they were on stage there as well. And her parents did not. They wanted to be in the front row watching. So this is something that my parents...
And I did not want his parents on stage at our wedding.
Yeah. So this is something that my parents have been looking forward to, like, their whole lives. Like, this is a tradition that they have had in their family. So Monica and I had to talk about it, and what happened was, this is just one of the examples. That was a huge problem, and we made the decision that they were going to be in the audience along with her parents, observing and watching in the front row, which was great and perfect. But what that was that came up specifically because we needed to set some boundaries that we are now creating our new family. We're not just following what mommy tells me to do. We're not just following what her mommy tells her to do. And we're now creating a new unit and a new relationship that is distinct from anything that's been there before. And so that's why that came up. So basically, what I'm think you're saying.
Okay, wait for it. For our replay viewers, he is going to get to his tip. It's going to be really good.
Yeah, my
so
tip's coming
don't
up.
leave.
But anyhow, what you're saying is when you're planning a wedding, or probably planning almost any event, the stuff that comes up during the planning process is specifically designed for you to learn the lessons that are going to serve you once the event happens or once the wedding happens.
Yeah. So, and not only that, but a lot of times you think that conversation of, I just want to get through it, I just want to get through it, I just want to get through it. And these are some of the most valuable key memories that you're going to have as you then forge along to define and redefine your marriage. So part of what's allowed us to be together for 25 years and married for 15 is we've had massive ups and downs. Like there have been the possibility of divorce. There have been, I can't take it the way that it is. We've had financial problems. We've had traumatic problems. We've had health issues that nearly took my life and nearly took his life. We had our kids go through things. So when you navigate these things, number one, to have that strong foundation gives you the access to being able to get through it. And number two, as you are understanding what you need from a marriage, you learn and grow and learn how to ask for what you need. And that's in that first year. If I hadn't said, I don't want that, and enrolled Jan and had him understand, this is what I need from you. I need you to stand for me, your wife, who's going to be your wife. Because if you want to marry your mom, I'm not your girl. And as a result, it really, really helped. It was hard and it was heartbreaking for him to say something that his parents wanted so badly. And in retrospect, would it have been such a big deal? No. But it was the first time he and I had the opportunity to really stand our ground and make a decision on behalf of the two of us. And him support me in the decision.
Awesome.
So your tip, Jan, because people are getting excited to hear it.
Okay, great.
And we want people to be able to, look at different perspectives.
Awesome. Okay, great. So I remember that when I got married, thank you. Yes, asking is tricky for some people. There's
well, not for me. I'm fine with asking.
Yeah, but there's a lot of power in asking for what you want. I'm actually doing a master's program in spiritual psychology right now, and we spent a whole day doing an exercise called asking for what you want. Asking the universe, asking other people, asking yourself.
When a lot of people are like, well, can I really ask? I mean, I haven't achieved enough to ask, or I'm not worthy enough to ask, or if I ask for too much, it'll maybe run out. It's not like it's genie in a bottle with a certain number of wishes. Like, you can ask for everything. The universe is intending to serve you, so ask away. And it may not be delivered in the packaging or the way that you think it should, but ask, please. I mean, if we had not asked for guidance, for help, for support with Jan and I along the way, I don't know that our marriage would have made it. Thank you, Ram.
Appreciate that very much. All right, here's my tip. Real simple. So when we got married, somebody gave us the tip of never go to bed angry at each other. Right. Well, that's pretty simple.
It's a good tip if it works.
It's a good tip, but the question is, when you're angry, how do you not go to bed angry? So what I like about this tip is it allows me to...
We haven't mastered it yet.
It allows me...
I do go to bed angry sometimes. Sorry, I just have to say, really, sometimes I go to bed angry.
Okay. So...
Jan doesn't. Jan is awesome about apologizing or sighing it out until I say, what's the matter? Did you want to say something? Yes. Can we say something before? Okay, go.
So the tip is to let your wife get all of everything out that she needs to say. Okay. No, so the reason why I like this tip of don't go to bed angry is because it actually allows me, to expand upon it with 3 or 4 tips. Okay. So here's the first one. So if you're, okay. So.
Stop reading. Just talk.
I'm with you. So, in order to not go to bed angry, there's a couple of things. So the first one is that I believe that everything she does is intended from her heart.
Yes.
Okay?
I love him, and I
Yes.
want him to know that. And sometimes my voice or my actions don't show it, but I never mean to not show it.
Right. So if she does something that
Hi,
hurts me,
Megan.
if she does something, excuse me, my tip, you get to be quiet now. Thank you. If she does something that really upsets me, that hurts my feelings or something like that, the first thing I do is I have the awareness that she did not do that intentionally to hurt me, because that is not part of our agreement and that is not who she is. So if I do receive the message in a way that it hurts me, then that's me. Then that gives me the opportunity to say, Monica, why did you do this? What was your intention? Because this landed like a piece of crap. Okay? It really, really hurt. So that's the first thing. So the first tip within the don't go to bed angry, it's hard to go to bed angry if you actually have the conversation where it's like, this you did really upset me, really hurt my feelings, and is there a reason why you did it? Can you please explain?
Well, and sometimes, like, you're so in an upset, you want to tell the other person to F right off. I mean, sometimes you really want to tell them strong, emotional, angry feelings and thoughts. But the key that we learned early in our relationship before we even got married was, don't dump it onto the person. Share it with the person, but don't dump it onto the person, because it's not his to handle my anger. It's him to love me through the anger that I'm experiencing, but it's not his to handle my anger. That's my responsibility. And if I dump it onto him, now we're both angry. And how does that serve the growth of our marriage, the growth of our relationship, bettering our communication? It sucks. And by the way, how guilty do I feel when I've dumped it on him, and then he's like, I'm trying to manage his stuff and how he can be better, and my stuff now. It sucks.
Yes.
Sorry, go ahead.
Yes. Don't dump. So within the don't go to bed angry, so number one is always assume that everything is coming from the heart. So that's the first part of it. Now the other part is there's a distinction called being right. Okay?
And I used to love to be right, always.
Yes.
Better than and right. Because the more right I was, the more wrong he was, and the more I felt like it mattered and I mattered.
Yeah. And so there have been times in our marriage where she would say, Jan, the sky is not blue. And I'd be like, what? And she'd like, no. The sky is green. And I could either choose... Great, thank you. I could either choose to continue to argue with her, because, by the way, the sky's blue, okay? I know, the sky's blue. Everyone knows the sky's blue. And yet she's trying to tell me that it's not. So I know I'm right. There's no doubt. There's been times where she said, you never told me this. And I'm holding in my phone a text message, right? Or an email or something, some form of communication where she told me this. So I can show not invaluably.
Hey, Ram, before you leave, if you want to share this with followers so that people jump on, that's awesome.
Yes. I can show her that there's no doubt that she said something to me.
So not live with one another necessarily before marriage, but experience in the first year as you're planning your wedding, all the experiences that you're having are the experiences that you need to be able to navigate your marriage. So that was tip number 1. And then that was my tip, Monica's tip. And then Jan's tip was
an expanded version of don't go to bed married. I mean, don't go to bed married. Don't go to bed angry. So the first one is always assume that your partner is sharing from their heart, because people typically do things that make sense to them. It might not always make sense to you, but it always makes sense for them. And they think that they're doing what's serving themselves best. And so I assume that all her communication, it is all coming from the heart. Now, whether I receive it from the heart and whether I receive it with love is a different conversation.
It's his responsibility.
And if I don't, then I get to find out and get some clarity on it. But hold on. I want to just end the second point to this. Okay.
Okay, but hold on. So we have
Yeah.
a bunch of people that just joined. Welcome everybody that just joined. We have a bunch of replay viewers that are going to come back and watch this. It started as a tip from me and a tip from Jan on what you must do before you get married, and now it's turned into a discussion about what's made our 25 years together, our 15 years of marriage, hot, spicy, and able to stay together. So you'll want to probably go back and listen to parts of it because it gets kind of funny earlier on, but now we're kind of summing up my one tip and Jan's one tip. So go ahead and share your next part.
So I was just talking about being right. That sometimes when you're in a relationship, or sometimes when I'm in a relationship, I know that she's telling me something that she's wrong, right? When she says, I asked you to do this, or I never asked you to do this, and I have like a text message where she asked me to do this. Now I can show her the text message and prove to her that she's wrong.
Which he's had to do sometimes so that I stop it.
But there's been plenty of times when I don't do that because I don't need to make her wrong. Because the truth is that we're all experiencing life, and we often can both be right about the same situation because we have different perspectives of what happened.
Right.
And so there are times when in a relationship when you get to make a choice of I don't need to be right. What's more important is I want to be loving.
Yeah. Well, and as we've navigated our marriage, you know, there have been moments, times, months, weeks, years where we weren't sure how it was going to all turn out. We weren't sure if financially we were going to be able to afford the life that we had created. We weren't sure if the conversations we were having were going in the same direction. We weren't sure if where I was growing spiritually and emotionally, he was growing at the same pace. And if he wasn't growing at the same pace, does that mean that we're growing apart? And there were all these questions that we would have, and they'd present themselves. But instead of going into our own isolated worlds and trying to solve it and work it out and really create our own story about the other person, we would bring it back into the marriage and we would talk about, here's how I'm feeling about it. I don't know if you agree with me or if you're, you know, in alignment with what I'm feeling, but you need to know how I'm feeling. You need to know that I'm scared, or you need to know that I have doubts, or you need to know that I'm thinking about this and that, and not as a means as threatening or as a means to scare, but as an opportunity for us to say, what's going to have us recognize that at the core of everything we do, we really have a love for each other. And we have a love for what we could portray to the planet to allow people to recognize that life isn't about it being perfect. Life is about navigating when it's not perfect so you can come together.
Great. And somebody else said, while I was speaking, they posted, pick your battles with a question mark. Now, when I hear pick your battles, to me, that means that there's going to be a winner and a loser.
Yeah, there's sides.
There's sides. And the way that we try and live our lives together is that there's not sides. We're always trying to find, like, what is the shared vision for that conversation? What is the shared vision for that moment? What is the shared vision around that conversation, around that battle? Because there's some place within both sides that ends up in love, that ends up in what we both want. And there's just miscommunication or misunderstanding.
Or the past, like how I was raised or how he was raised, that's so different that we have to reconcile through our communication. The better we get at communicating where it's coming from and where the philosophy or the belief system or the misunderstanding came from, the more we can actually navigate towards each other.
Yeah. So I don't ever really look at it like pick our battles because we're on the same team.
Yeah.
So it's really more like how do we get as a team working together to score a goal or a touchdown rather than
how do we remember the objective
or
the foundation that we were built upon.
Yeah, and the objective is always for us to love each other and love our life and have as much fun as we can and
bring people along, bring people to understand they can have it too. So those people that are looking for partnership, those people that are looking for a relationship, don't think about it like I'm waiting for that person to come. It's who are you creating yourself to be? How good are you at communicating with your friends, with your family, with people around you, so that all of it is practice and service towards the relationship that you want to create.
So I want to say one more thing because I think we're wrapping up.
Hello.
We're getting close to wrapping up.
Yes.
So what's interesting for me is, so Monique and I are part of a community of a lot of young people. And a lot of the young people don't necessarily come from marriages that were loving, like role model type marriages. So they look at us and they often see like a role model of, wow, this is what's possible.
Yeah.
But what I want to just say is, please, please, please don't ever think that what we're portraying is a perfect, beautiful, easy relationship. What we're portraying is two people who are committed to each other, who are committed to living a life that we love, and who have gone through many, many ups and downs. And through that, we've always used those as lessons to learn and lessons to grow, lessons to love each other even more. So when we are here communicating with you guys and talking with you guys and just sharing our tips, it's not coming from a place of we're experts and we therefore know better than everyone and we have a seamless relationship. It's coming from a place of we are doing the work to have a loving relationship, and we're experiencing a beautiful, loving relationship, and we are just trying to...
We're doing the best we can.
Yeah, and we're trying to do our best to impact the planet and help other people have beautiful, loving relationships as well.
And navigate whatever comes up. But it's not about avoiding the pitfalls and the hardships. It's about understanding how to work through them so that you come together at the end.
Yeah.
So that's our tips of relationship. We're gonna start doing this regularly because we're finding that we're getting a lot of questions from people like, I want what you guys have. How have you created it? And it's like, I don't want the misunderstanding out on the planet that because it looks so easy, because it looks seamless for 5 minutes in front of the room, that it is. It's not. It's consistent, concerted communication and willingness to be raw and vulnerable and messy and blaming and right-making and wrong-making. It's willing to go through all of that to be available for what's on the other side of it. And I'll say real quick, I just saw the movie for the first time ever, Inside Out. And if you haven't seen that, it's a Pixar animated movie. I highly recommend it because it shows you one thing, and that is that any emotion that you have is necessary for certain growth and understanding. That it's not like we want to avoid anger, hate, fear, sadness, disgust, panic. We want to navigate them. And the better we get at navigating them and understanding them and accepting ourselves as we go through them, the more acceptance we have for the people in our lives.
Awesome. Beautiful. So...
Thank you. And this was a great Periscope too.
So thank you so much for tuning in, and this was fun, and we're going to do this a lot. So
tune in when you can.
Yeah, we hope you enjoyed and think of questions, and we're here to serve, and love you all, and I love you too.
I love you.
Okay.
Bye.